rationalize a loss where you hold their top scorer to no points and still, end up kind of slipping away at the end there?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Wisconsin played hard. I thought they played smart. That's why they're ranked. Saint was assigned to number 9, and he did a great job. Not a good job, a great job. But the blow-bys by the other, by the Wisconsin guards it was like it was early in the year. So I'm not going to sit up here and call guys out. But it's quite evident that Saint and Rashawn played with great energy. So I can credit those two guys.
Actually, I have 2 quick questions. One is, what was going wrong with their guards being able to come down the lane basically unimpeded?
Well, they're good.
Yeah, they are good.
They're ranked. What's Wisconsin's record?
Don't know.
14-3. They're pretty good. And Blackwell's really good. Not just now. He's good last week, and he's good the week before. And our 2 guards did not defend their 2 guards because their starting point guard, I don't think he's quicker, number 11, than our guys, but he found angles, and he got to the rim. So
when that happened, though, it looked like nobody rotated over to try to.
It's really hard
cut
to
them off.
rotate when you have all red shooters out there, which means 3-point shooters. I mean, maybe you have a defensive scheme you can get me. I'd love to get it. But when they go in the first half 7 of 15, you have to stay attached to the shooters. Normally, that would be your normal thinking if USC is not a lights out from 3 shooting team. So it's the first team we've played, including Iowa, that we felt had 5 guys that could all make a 3, whether they had their starters in or their subs. So you give and take something. You can't take away the 3 and the dribble drive unless you're a great defensive team in the NBA. You can't. You got to decide what you're going to do. So, back to Luka's thing on their leading scorer, when you come into the game, you do have to game plan for their leading scorer. Well, he has 0 points. So I can't plug 99 holes in a 40-minute game. I'd love to, but I'm not that smart.
Was there any message for Desmond at halftime to try and maybe get him going in the second half after going scoreless?
Yeah, I mean, we tried to run a couple plays for him. His 5 turnovers, that's a lot of turnovers at the point guard position. Wisconsin's not really a high steal team. They had a lot tonight, so credit their load-up defense to the ball because that's what they do. They were active. They were alert. Again, they're a really good team. I mean, Michigan was really good, and Wisconsin was really good. I mean, and we had no home court advantage. I mean, that's just how it is. It's been that way, and we got to continue to work as a program, to make it more of a home court advantage. Because I know it's going to be a home court advantage when we go to Nebraska. I know that. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Because they're 20-1 or 21-1 in their last 22 home games. So we have to figure out how to get ready on the road, which we have for the most part. I think we've done a good job taking the opposing team's home crowd out of it, even for stretches at Indiana when we lost that game. But we're dealing with travel. We're dealing with home court. We're dealing with a lot of stuff, and we just got to try to keep trying to figure it out.
Coach, it sounds like you're more disappointed with the defense of the guards, but again, the big men have a lot of success tonight. That happened against Indiana, happened against Iowa. Is that just something that you maybe don't have the roster to slow down some of these bigs, and that's just something you're going to give up? Yeah,
I mean, I think there's some truth to that, but, like 22 is probably their most effective big, and, if you told me he had 9 and 3, we tried to go at him a little bit and get fouls, which we did, which limited his minutes. But again, I mean, it's, when we switched and Desmond plays behind, I already can tell you the answer to that. That's, our scheme is to switch in front when we're small. And we didn't do that. He didn't do that in particular. So if you're going to play behind a 7-footer and you're our point guard, I can pretty much tell you the results of what will happen. So we have to execute better. That's always on the coaching staff. It's not on the players. We have to do that more in practice. Switch front, weak side help. I mean, that's something that we have to do. But I mean, in my opinion, again, obviously you guys, I haven't watched the film, but I thought 25 Blackwell took the game over at the beginning, and the difference in the game was his spurt ability scoring the ball. And then I thought, 11. Those two guys are the two guys that played well. Obviously, Winter played well too inside, but I thought their two guards really hurt us.
Eric, sorry. Just in terms of home court, like you mentioned earlier, how much is it trying to rebuild a program, but also being in a new conference in that novelty factor of opposing teams coming here for the first time in a while?
Can you maybe go into more detail obviously we're new first
Well,
year.
Wisconsin hasn't been in LA since I think 82.
Yep.
And you've got a lot of these programs that have never been here before, and you have a large West Coast base of opposing alumni
Yep.
who normally don't see these teams here. So
Yeah, they're excited. You can tell. I mean, it's been a couple games now. The last 3 minutes in the game, you hear the opposing crowd very loud, and so for them, it's probably great. For us, not so great, especially if you don't win at home. So I think all the Big Ten schools, like the traditional Big Ten schools, have always had a great following. I can go all the way back to 1970 when my dad was coaching at Minnesota, and Williams Arena was sold out, 19,000 people, and then the hockey arena was sold out too, and the game was shown on closed-circuit TV. So, I mean, I'm well aware of, the great history of the Big Ten basketball. I can't speak for any other sport, but I was in elementary school, 3rd grade, traveling to Wisconsin when Kim and Carrie Hughes were playing there. I've been in that building, and so now that they get to come out here, the travel's different. You know what I mean? I don't think we're going to play anybody that's 12 miles away. They get to go play UCLA, to my knowledge, next, right? So that's but it is what it is. Like, we're in the Big Ten now, and we got to figure it out. That's our job.
Couple things. Just firstly, to go off that, I don't know if you saw Mick Cronin, last night, but he said, ask Eric Musselman. It's a lot harder to go west to east, from your time in the NBA than it is to go east to west. Just with that, the fact that you guys are doing that 4 times this year, and opposing teams only have to do that once to come out to LA. The fact that you guys still don't have much of a home court advantage. How tough is all of that kind of factoring into what you guys are trying to do right now?
I mean, I think. It's a known fact when you go west to east. It's not my opinion. That's the opinion of every NBA team. Probably saying, I don't know any of the NHL coaches, but I know. But there's no excuse. Like, I'm a competitor. I want a locker room full of competitors. I'm not telling them, when we go to Indiana that, hey, guys, we had to travel. It's okay. Like, I'm going in that locker room with the game plan and trying to win the game. Is it super challenging? Yes. I'll give you an example if anyone wants a story time. My first game going west to east, we had a shoot-around. Our shoot-around slot was 10 a.m. One of our high character players grabbed me before the shoot-around and said, Coach, you can't ever have a shoot-around on day one of a west to east trip. We're all asleep. Like, you're not going to get anything out of us. And that was a true statement. So we have to figure out, like, what's our travel and all that. But it's not, it's not tripping up our women's team, right? They're super talented, they're well coached, and they're going out kicking butt when they have to travel. So, we're not going to sit here and ever, like, I watched Coach Gottlieb's team. They go in there and just beat people by 30 on the road with the same travel. So, eventually we've got to get to that point. We're never, in men's game, you're not going to win by 30 on the road all the time, but we have to figure out how to go on the road like we are and compete, and we got to play better at home. Right now, we got to play better at home. We'll see what happens, at Nebraska, but right now we're holding serve on the road up to this short sample size, but really not doing that at home because you got to have a home court advantage. I mean, you got to win 8 out of 10 games at home. Or you can't play in March. That's again, that's factual, not an opinion.
Real quick, Rashawn, with how well he's been playing recently, do you think about changing up the lineup? Starting him instead of Josh. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think we've talked about that. We've discussed it. Even tonight, we didn't get down that much. That first media time, I think whatever Josh was, he was not plus or minus. So he's the one guy that, in his, 4 minutes, he's the only guy that wasn't in the minus. So I like bringing Rashawn off the bench and maybe starting him in the second half if he's playing well. Josh really hasn't done anything for us to take him out. He wasn't the issue tonight at all. We fell behind. I thought Rashawn gave us a different look. We have thought about it, talked about it, but again, I don't like Josh has, none of this was on him tonight at all.
Last question.
Coach, can you explain your thinking? In the first half, you took Dez out, I think 4 times, maybe it was only 3 times, but it was like for 30 or 60 seconds at a time. And could you explain what your thought process was?
I didn't think he was helping us enough. Otherwise, I would have left him in the game. And defensively, we've got to play better. Again, Rich, I don't like to call out players. So, we subbed him in and out. Hopefully, anytime we sub, it's to either get a player a blow or it's to explain a coverage. And we didn't think he was playing up to what he's capable of during that stretch or segment, whatever you want to call it.
All right, thank you all.
Like at times that might have happened a little bit more tonight where there wasn't quite as much ball movement. Just what were you seeing or what were maybe they doing defensively that kind of slowed that?
I don't think they really did anything special. I think we played stagnant today. Didn't look like how we did at the beginning of this week. And we take all blame for that, all the guards. And I think Sean played a good job just coming up to the ball, trying to get us into stuff. But that's just lack of focus on our guards and just not, like you said, not moving the ball and just being stagnant.
Yeah, I agree with him. I feel like we got a little stagnant, just trying to figure something out, what we wanted to do next, but I feel like we got to put a little more pace into it.
During that 13-0 run to start the second half, what did you guys see that you were doing differently on both sides of the ball to get yourselves back in the game?
I would really say it kind of just started kind of like with me and Sean, just bringing the energy to the team. Kind of seeing our guys down in the huddle and just try to tell them they're going to fold at some point. I mean, the game is 40 minutes long. It's hard to play great basketball, and they were shooting probably 60-something% coming out of the half and before going into half. So just telling the guys that it's human nature. They're going to come out. They're going to start missing shots at some point, and we just got to go on a run. And obviously, as you've seen, we had a little 2-man game going on and just got back in the game. Like that. And then we just got stops on the other end. Let them get up threes, and we actually had hands in the face, and we were jumping on their threes. So I think they went 1 for 8 at the second media. So I think we did our job right there, and then just kind of folded from there.
Just had more urgency. I feel like our urgency of wanting to defend the ball and defend the three-point line was better. Us running in transition and stopping the ball and talking to each other, communication was all a lot better. Our effort was better.
I got one question for each guy. For Saint, you held their leading scorer scoreless, guarding him. Just congrats, and just what went into that matchup. And then as a follow-up for Sean, you're playing really great basketball right now. What sort of changed as the year's gone on?
I say for me, seeing another kid that I look up to, John Tanje. He's from Omaha, Nebraska, where I'm also from. So just watching him as a high school kid, he's like 2 years older than me, so he's kind of big bro to me. And I know I just took that like pride. I just got to come at him and guard him. I asked coach if I can have that matchup, and he told me I can have it. I mean, he's one of the best players in the Big Ten, and like I said, I just wanted to guard him, like just to show him that. I mean, I'm not little bro.
I mean, I'm playing good right now just because of my energy, my effort, just being able to come and help the team. At this point, I just, whatever it takes to help the team. If coach need me to come and play 30 one night, I'm going to come do it. Coach need me to, be an energy guy on the bench, I'm going to come do it. At this point, the things that's changed is me just wanting to help the team and wanting to win.
Sean, just to follow up on that, I think Saint said after you guys' previous win that must have challenged you at times this year, just in terms of your toughness and to play tough. And how have you kind of internalized that, and what's maybe changed for you in that regard just over the last few weeks?
I would say what has changed. I feel like me practicing harder, me having more urgency and more understanding of what the team needs and understanding what he wants from me. In the beginning, I would say I struggled with understanding how to help the team and how to provide for the team, and now I'm seeing it through a better eye and understanding what's going on.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
you guys.